Meet Will and Tom, two seemingly ordinary men, cursed with a gift of vast knowledge that is forever expanding. Possessing incredible insight with unparalleled skills and expertise. Let us join them as they embark on a journey to quench their thirst for the truth while answering the questions to life's most intriguing mysteries. Let us open our minds and ask, dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? The life of William always seemed good. Sure, he had some ups and downs, but for the most part, he lived a fair life, and a happy one at that. Always striving to keep the status quo, keeping any big changes at bay. But some changes are inevitable. Some changes are unavoidable. And even more rare, some changes seem to have a way of finding you. And this, my dear friends, is the tale of a change that William happened to find, or should I say, found him, on one fateful day of fishing, when William caught not but just a fish, but the all-powerful One Ring of Power. Welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Case.
And this is Will Stark.
Will, I think we're in the last week. If this is not the day of... No.
It can't be the day of.
No, this can't be the day of.
Pulling up a calendar.
Yeah. It's always hard to keep track of these dates.
There's one more episode that will air before the end of our contest, which is what I know you're getting at.
Yeah.
I believe this episode will air on the 28th.
Okay, so we do have one more episode.
That will air on the 2nd of May.
Oh, because then it's 2 days before the end of the contest.
Indeed.
Of the DCYI glass set giveaway, which is open to everybody. If you want more details, just listen to the details near the end of the show. Let's get right into it, Will.
As always.
I think you might like this one.
Okay, I hope so.
Yes. What if you found the one ring to rule them all?
Okay, for sure. All right.
So
I do like this one.
Yeah, right. Because I know you're a fan of Lord of the Rings. So am I, but you like it.
I found the Ring of Power, Sauron's ring. Okay.
Here's the parameters. So it's in our world. Okay. Yes. So there's no Mount Mordor or anything like that.
Mount
so
Doom,
we don't know. Huh?
Mount Doom.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. But see, you're, like I said, you're a bigger fan of it than I am. So there's no Mount Doom in Mordor, right? That's in Mordor, isn't it?
Yes, it is in Mordor.
Okay, I got that right. So there's no Mount Doom here, and we don't know how the ring got here. However,
it is here.
It is here, and you found it. You were going fishing with your father-in-law.
Okay.
Which I hear he likes to do.
He loves to fish.
And you went fishing and you happened to catch a fish. And when you brought it on board after a tough fight, right, you want to unhook it and you looked in the mouth and saw something glinting. You saw something shiny.
Yeah. And
as soon as you put your hands in there to open the mouth, you saw it was the One Ring.
Okay. So I find a gold ring.
Yes.
Well, you know, the gold.
I guess you wouldn't know it's
script,
the One Ring.
I would just find a ring.
You would
just plain gold or brass looking ring, and it wouldn't have script on it because it doesn't unless they throw it in fire.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think it was a cool souvenir. I think I would definitely keep it.
I mean, finding a ring of anything in a fish
and I would
that.
joke. I see. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be able to joke with Manny about Lord of the Rings because he wouldn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, he wouldn't.
But I'd be able to joke with my mother-in-law and my fiance about how it's just like how Smeagol found the ring in Lord of the Rings. My precious.
Yeah,
I would do the Andy Serkis Gollum
the
joke.
impersonation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I wouldn't even think about it being the One Ring or it having the script or anything like that. If I could see myself if it's during the summer, right, and we're making s'mores, I could make the joke of watch it throw it in the fire and it has a script, and then I actually do it. Because the ring will be fine in the fire, and then it actually does get the script. I would see at that point though. I would just think it was a really fucking cool replica.
I know,
holy
right?
shit! I'm this is legit, and I would probably try and sell it.
Oh, really?
I would probably I try and look it up. Be
yeah,
hey, it's an actual replica.
How did they
this and that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, before we go any further,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
you know what? I'm surprised. I should fire him. I don't know where Fritz is at. I should. You're probably
It's
right.
April already. Yeah,
I know,
he should
right?
be done.
But because he's not here, I had to do my own deep dive. So let's go to the deep dive, shall we?
Yes.
Details from the deep.
So here's a couple of facts on Lord of the Rings that I didn't know about, but I thought were very interesting. And one of them was, this is most of these are, if not all of them, I think, are actually going to be Lord of the Rings, the movie, the trilogy. Right?
Okay.
I do know it's from J.R.R. Tolkien, the author, of the book.
Right.
But a lot of these, when I tried to look up like facts and stuff, I was barely finding anything interesting of facts about the book.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't really find a lot. Most everything that came up was about the movie.
That's so strange. I mean, don't get me
know,
wrong. Plenty about the movie should come up and be interesting, but I'm surprised like some of the books trivia. Okay, whatever.
I know. I thought it was the same thing
That's
too,
really
because I was
strange.
like, well, we're talking about really just the book, and we're not really talking about just the movie. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
one of them that I thought was interesting because it has something to do with one of my faves is that Peter Jackson almost didn't get the chance to turn Lord of the Rings into a movie series. And that's because back in the 60s, the Beatles wanted to adapt Lord of the Rings for themselves.
What?
Yeah, dude, they wanted to adapt Lord of the Rings for themselves. Paul McCartney as Frodo, Ringo Starr as Sam, George Harrison as Gandalf, and John Lennon as Gollum.
What?
Yeah, and guess who they wanted to direct?
Peter Jackson? I don't know.
Stanley Kubrick.
Okay. Why does this prevent Peter Jackson from making the movies?
I think it had something to do with whoever bought the rights.
Oh.
Yeah, so if they had done that and had bought the
Okay,
rights,
all right.
most likely they wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, you never know. Maybe they would have given Peter.
There are a lot of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies. Not a lot, but there's more than a few that came out before Jackson ever did it.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
true. But I wonder if whatever happened to the rights to that, I don't know.
Yeah, go
A
ahead.
lot of times when Beatles get stuff like the rights, they rarely ever, give them, except for, the thing they have with Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, the
Right.
Beatles songs.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was so weird. I mean, like,
It's very strange.
imagine like, come here, my precious, like give me the
so
ring.
horrible.
It's
Give
my
us the
ring.
ring.
You know what I
so
mean? Like, it's just so
stupid.
weird. You know what I mean?
I would have cast, by the way, of the four to be Gollum, I think it should have been Ringo Starr. Have you ever seen Ringo Starr in Caveman?
No, I
Okay.
don't think I have.
So there's this movie. It's called Caveman. It stars Ringo Starr and oh my god, what's his face? Dennis Quaid. When he's young.
I remember.
When
Yeah.
he's young, and there's no English in the movie. There's no actual dialogue in the movies because they're all cavemen. They grunt and stuff.
Oh, I see.
And
what
it's
you're saying.
a comedy adventure with Ringo Starr and Dennis Quaid as a couple cavemen. It's actually not bad. I
Really?
really like that movie.
Oh man, I
Yes.
might have to check it out.
But just picturing Ringo Starr with his grunting and his like rugged caveman look, I'm like, he should play Gollum for sure.
I know. That's why I thought it was just so weird that they said, and John Lennon as Gollum. Like I don't know. I would not.
They probably were just high and thought it was hilarious. That's exactly what happened.
Hey, you know what I think we should do next?
Lord of the
I
Rings-
think we should do Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings went through a little bit of like a pop culture boom in the late 60s, early 70s. Led Zeppelin, their fourth record, has a few songs that make, actually not just their fourth record, but they have more than a few songs that have a lot of Lord of the Rings content in them or about Lord of the Rings. The band Rush, I'm sure you've heard of them. They also they have a song called Rivendell. They have a few other songs as well. Like, yeah, it was pretty big.
Christopher Lee. Right?
Yes. Mhm.
Out of all the
I know what you're going to say.
what is that?
That he met Tolkien, and Tolkien said if anyone played Gandalf, he wanted it to be Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee auditioned to be Gandalf, but he was not cast, but he was cast as Saruman instead.
Very good. But he also agreed that McKellen was
Better.
the better for
Because he was.
better
Although
match for
Christopher
Gandalf.
Lee's amazing. And
Yeah,
he
he
plays Saruman
is.
so good.
Yeah, that is true. Wow, see, you already knew some of the you should do the deep dive. The only other thing too that I thought was kind of cool, because I actually really liked this character, Gimli.
Yeah.
Right? Being a dwarf, Gimli is the shortest of the warriors in the Fellowship, but his actor, John, I think it's pronounced Rhys, John Rhys Davies, is over 6 feet tall.
Oh, well,
For
interesting.
some wider shots, a body double was used to make sure Gimli didn't look taller than Legolas or Aragorn.
Right,
Yeah,
sure.
I thought that was kind of really cool because like I did not know that.
They did a lot of really cool visual, like what do they call that? Perspective shots, where it's like, for instance, like where you have Gandalf in the room looming over Frodo. It's actually they're not standing anywhere near each other. It's the perspective that and the angle that they get make it look like Gandalf's looming over him, but in reality, Gandalf's just a lot closer to the camera than Frodo was.
Frodo was
actually
right?
kind of far off.
I think I remember seeing that, and they had to like
It's fascinating.
place like a ball or something on a stick to know where their eye line, like where to look at to make it look like.
Yeah.
And they totally nailed that
a lot
because
of
I would
care
not have known.
and love and just respect went into making those movies.
Yeah, but that's it for the deep dive.
Really, you just had 2 Lord of the Rings. You just have 2.
I had 3 of them.
What was the third one?
The Gimli one.
What was the first one?
The Beatles one.
Oh, and the second one was Christopher Lee, which I told you.
Yeah,
that's why I thought there was only 2.
I know. I was like, what are you talking about?
I expected 5, Tom.
There were
Fritz would have done a better job. I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm
Right?
joking.
Well, there were other ones, but like most of it was stuff about like production and everything. And you know, you could just go and watch the behind the scenes specials on the DVD.
All right. Well,
those.
while you were talking about your facts, I did think of the fact that actually I would figure out that it was the Ring of Power pretty quickly because I would at some point jokingly put it on and see how it looked. And we know that the Ring of Power, the Ring of Power, I think can choose whether it wants to be used or not, but like it always wants to be used. So I don't think that really matters. And yeah, so I would turn invisible.
Now, here's the weird thing. Okay, so when you do that, I know in the book, when he puts the ring on, Sauron can see him. Right? He could feel and see when the ring is being used.
Yes.
So now we already established that you find the ring, but obviously there's no Mount Doom and there's no Mordor on Earth, right? So would there be Sauron still?
Well, I mean, okay, there's a lot of ways we could approach this in that, like, in Middle Earth, one of the major themes is that magic is slowly but surely disappearing from this world. Like, it's why the elves are leaving. There's only a few bastions left that like remain magical. Rivendell being one of them, Lothlorien being another. But the reason that those 2 realms are able to stay magical is because both Elrond and Galadriel have 2 rings of power. They have 2 of the 3 elven rings.
Oh, okay.
And it's through the power of the rings that they have warded off the erosion of magic. But when the one ring is destroyed, and all the other rings are tied to it, it destroys the power of those rings. And that's why at the end of Return of the King, everyone's leaving. Because they already know once the ring's gone, all their magic's gone, they're just going to leave. They're going to go to the place where there is magic.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, as far as we know, there is no magic in this world. So does the ring even work?
Oh, that
You know
would
what I
be...
mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because technically it's not destroyed now.
Yeah. And by the way,
you found it.
Middle Earth is canonically in the story supposed to be our world at a much earlier age.
Oh, okay. Well, dang, then it well, I guess you would have tried it on before you threw it in the fire. That's what you were saying,
I think
right?
so. That's what I was saying.
So that means if there is no magic, it would just be a ring.
Yeah, it would just be a piece of brass or gold.
and even if you did throw it in the fire, it probably wouldn't light up with the inscription.
It wouldn't. Although I don't know if that's magic or not. It might just be super badass technique that Celebrimbor taught to Sauron.
If that's some technique, I wish someone else would learn.
I'm sure it's possible. I think it's doable. Like, I'm pretty sure you would. I don't know enough about blacksmithing or goldsmithing,
right,
but I'm just going to talk in my ass and say, like, I would imagine that you would line it with a type of metal that glows at a cooler temperature than the rest of the ring, but it matches in color. And so, like, when it hits the heat, it begins to glow. So
that would make sense.
That would make sense. But yeah, if I put on the ring and it didn't do anything, and I didn't know it was the one ring, and it didn't have any power over me, I would still keep it for life because that's a crazy story. I gotta have a fish's mouth.
Yeah,
like,
you caught a fish
this
in the ocean.
Cool. Yeah,
and
I
it
wear
was
that
in
ring.
the mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But us here at Dude, Could You Imagine? We never want to have a boring story, right?
All
right. It is magic.
It is.
You
magic.
put it on,
I turn invisible,
and you turn invisible, but you don't see it, but you hear. Like
the whispers of Sauron.
You hear a voice, and it just once you put it on, you just hear it go like, "Return to me."
Take off my ring. Okay, at that point, I'm torn between chucking the ring back into the lake where I was fishing, or hiding it somewhere safer forever.
Okay, I find it interesting that you said you would throw it, because if it is magical, now doesn't that make you? Because doesn't that affect Frodo? Like once he starts to have it, or does that not work at that fast?
The ring can sway people, can like almost entice or mesmerize people into desiring it, right? And hobbits, this works a lot less. It's why it takes so long. For instance, Bilbo, right? Bilbo had the ring for like 50 years. He had the ring. And like the only effects it had on him was that he was really attached to it, and he got a little golem-y there in the movie for a split second.
Yeah, I remember.
But like that shows hobbits' purity of heart and like their resilience to magical effects and stuff like that. Humans are affected more easily.
Because I do remember that one time that guy, what's his name?
Boromir.
Boromir,
my favorite character from The Fellowship of the Ring. Fucking love him, and Sean Bean does such a good job. But yeah, it affects humans much quicker and much more strongly, and it affects those who have a desire for power the most. So Boromir, who is not a bad person by pretty much any means, like before the ring, but one thing he is, it's desperate. His people are fighting in a war and they're failing. Like he desperately wants something, some sort of power, some sort of uniting of people, something to save his people, right? So he's just like a prime victim for the ring, and it's why the ring instantly has an effect on him. While people like Aragorn, who is more, well, he's not reluctant in the books, but in the movies, he's a very reluctant king. Or Gandalf, who's wise enough to know better. It's why, even though it does pull on them a bit, much less than Boromir. Now, I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because doesn't Gandalf like they
don't
offer it to him?
Me, Frodo.
Yeah, and he's like, don't even. He didn't even want to like. That's right.
What does he say? He says, "If I were to take the ring, I would use it out of a desire to do good, but through me, I would will great evil," or something like that. So I think I have a pretty established rapport on this podcast that I do not desire power.
Okay,
I want to be left the fuck alone.
I was going to say, this is the time where we test Will's will, right? You know what I mean? And
so I know that I got limited time. If this is the real deal, I have a limited time that I can spend with this ring before. It doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. I'm human, so I'm susceptible, right? Which is why I'm torn between throwing it in the lake now versus trying to find somebody to hide it. I also have to deal with Manny, who is my father-in-law.
Oh, right, because he knows, he saw you.
He saw the ring. Is he going to try and fucking, is it Smeagol me? Is he going to try and Smeagol me?
Right? Like, all of a sudden he started
I'm just running for my life.
He's like, it's mine, Will.
So I don't think I'm going to throw it away. I think I'm going to pocket it immediately.
I see you.
You did see me turn invisible, though.
Oh, that is true.
Which is bad news.
That is true.
Because he's going to desire the ring.
I also see you, like, that moment where you said you were thinking about throwing it back into the water. I see you, your hand cocked back, but you hesitate. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah. Which means to me, I need. See, I don't know how long I have before I'm enthralled to the ring, right?
Because us as humans, you're right. Boromir, it almost seemed to happen instantaneously.
Yeah, because again, he desired power. Even though he desired power for a good reason, that didn't matter. Like it was a chink in his armor the ring was able to exploit. I'm trying to think. I think at most I have a few days. At most. Just to be on the cautious side. Like maybe I can last a week, but I don't want to risk that.
The longer
I think I have enough money in my account. I'll get yelled at for this later, but I'm gonna book a cruise to the Mariana Trench and try and throw that ring over and hope no one ever finds it because it's deep, 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 deep under the sea.
Yeah, and then one of those what do they call those Alvins? The deep dive. Little pods that people go in and do like exploration. That's the next person to find it. I
mean, at that point, it's out of my hands. That's the best hiding place I could think of. You know what I mean? True. And the problem is, I probably won't get there. Because let's say I jump through all the hoops, and there's going to be a lot to even get out there. But by the time I get out there, like all it takes is like one chink in the armor, right? So like I hear about some crazy war going on, you know, like the one that's going on now. And I begin having the ring starts doing you could end this war. Through me, you could rule all men, and there would never be war again, and blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly.
Use it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it would do. So maybe I don't know. Okay, Mariana Trench is off the table. We're no longer doing that. I don't think I can last that long.
Yeah, it would be hard
what's the most remote location? Maybe the middle of the desert, but like this.
But you anywhere you can get to that you can do it quickly, that means you can get back there just as quickly.
Oh, you're right, because it can pull. So I have to get it to a place where I can't go.
Yeah,
again.
that would be the only way to do it.
Oh,
but
I mean, okay, maybe the Mariana Trench is too wishful thinking. I'm gonna have to take it. Oh, okay. I think I know what I'll do. I'm going to off the coast of California is one of the biggest kelp forests in the world.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably gonna try and go to the heart of that. I'm gonna tie a weight onto this ring to make sure that it doesn't float or skip about. I want it to be heavy enough to get it embedded deep into the kelp if I can. So like a good 5 pound, 10 pound like weight.
Yeah, something where it's not.
Yeah.
Also, it can't just be string that you tie it to.
No.
It has to be something very durable that can last underwater.
Fuck, what could it be?
The only thing I could think of that wouldn't deteriorate in
over time, huh?
Yeah. And you're talking about the off the coast, so it's salt water. So you need the salt. You need something that can withstand that.
Yeah.
I don't know if certain metals is the only thing I could think of, right? But after a while,
I know. I'll do like 5 or 6 like plastic zip ties, because the plastic will take
the plastic would
hundreds and hundreds of years to deteriorate if it ever does. Or maybe no, because glass will break. Fuck, you're right. Because even the plastic will deteriorate, but I can't. There's only so much I could do, right?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? And you know what? And you saying this, I still can just picture in my head, and I could hear the theme music in the background, right? What I picture is you do this, and you think you wash your hands of it, right? You're like, okay, I did it, and now you're sailing away or whatever, swimming away. I don't know how you did it, right? You do that, and then all of a sudden, this scuba diver is coming swimming, and you just hear. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Well, yeah, the ring does call to people, and like, okay, so
right?
maybe
It's
the
so
kelp
hard.
forest isn't good. Well, the thing is, anywhere I get to, other people can get to.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping with the kelp forest, it makes it incredibly difficult for anyone to find it, and it should be deep in the mud.
Yeah, that
you know
is
what I mean?
true.
Like
that would be
like Isildur died and fell into a river, and the ring disappeared for 4,000 years. So I think, I at least bought us a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Especially
because
with the zip
here's my
ties.
thing: if someone wields the ring of power in this world, right, and there is no Sauron because there isn't, as far as we know. Although I guess no, because if the ring exists and Sauron does exist, because Middle Earth is supposed to be our world, so Sauron's like some weird CEO of some company.
Yeah. You know what I was just about to say is like, what if you heard the voice and it was like, you could take over China? Like,
Oh my God.
It's Trump.
Can you imagine?
Something like that.
No.
Or it's Putin and he's like, bring it back to me in Mother Russia.
Oh no. Well, Sauron wouldn't have a body though, so he would still be some sort of weird eye spirit in the sky that no one talks about.
Yeah.
Okay, well, where I was getting at with that was like, if let's say there is no Sauron, but the ring still works, like who's going to stand against the person with the ring? Like, not many people I think will be able to. I think we have guns now,
Yeah, and it wasn't like the person wearing the ring was invincible.
Well, the thing is,
right?
the person who wields the ring does have a certain, so the ring kind of grants different levels of power to different people. So, for example, like with Frodo and the Hobbits, like it just has the invisibility because the Hobbits don't have any violence in their hearts. You know what I mean? They don't have any will to exert upon other people. But like if someone like Gandalf or a warrior gets it, like they can have like power over men, over others.
I thought it only worked when those other rings that he had given out.
No.
Because I thought this one ring was to rule those others that had those rings.
No, it
right?
does. It did that too. It does a bunch of things. What was I saying?
He's like nobody would.
Oh yeah, so like you would have it's like a plus 25 to charisma, and also you get physical strength and stuff like that too.
Okay.
But I don't know if you could do what you see Sauron doing in the movies, where he's like swings a single mace and like 50 dudes die. That might have just been because Sauron technically is like an angel level deity, but I digress. If the ring does exist and it does work, then I think it stands to reason that Sauron is somewhere in this world and he fucking wants it. And if he gets it, I mean, maybe we can shoot him. I'm not sure.
I know. I wonder what would happen with our conventional weapons against his magical.
Yeah,
kind,
exactly. Who's to say?
Yeah. So yeah, you and I have very different answers.
Oh my God, here we go.
I did have because I did have this scenario for me, like the way I would like to find something like that. But you shot a hole in that real quick, and it makes sense because I was thinking if it was me that found it, the way I would find it is, probably me and my wife would be going shopping at like the local. Well, there's a place called Frank and Sons, right? Mm-hmm. They have a lot of collectibles and everything like that. A lot of nerd culture things. And, I would be going by a shop and seeing it displayed for sale, right? Not knowing, like maybe that what it is, but I would think it would be a replica. But you're right. Who would sell that? Because if they were in possession of that, they wouldn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
But let's say if I did find it somehow, somehow I found it. You know what, man? I don't know. I don't trust myself. I would not trust myself with the ring. Like, I would have to be like, probably like what Gandalf did. Like, you know what I mean? Even, and let's say I saw you proved it to me. You're like, Tom, I need to show you something.
Throw it into the fire, Tom.
Yeah. You're like, wait,
like, God damn it, Tom.
You're like, wait till everyone in the office is left, whatever. And then you would put the ring on and you'd prove that now I know that that's the ring.
Oh, wouldn't you have already put it on?
No, well, see, this is what I'm saying. But if you had it first and you were to show it to me,
I would not.
I would have to do what Gandalf did. Because I
Don't
already
show
know.
to me,
yeah,
Will.
I know I could not be trusted with the ring.
Because you're going to Smeagol my ass. See, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah. Man, well, I hope I wouldn't Smeagol your ass, but I probably would.
It's my birthday. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I feel like I think I would be so tired of some of the stuff I see in the world, like this.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I would use it, and I the temptation would be too great for me. I know I would use it.
Yeah,
there's no way I would not. You know what I mean? Like finding this ring.
You would be boring me right? at the meeting of L Round. It's like, we could use this.
Yeah, I would.
No, we can't. Shut up.
But Will, no, don't throw it back into the ocean.
One does not simply get to the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, when you drop it into this kelp forest, you're gonna hear another splash behind it, and that's me diving down to go after it.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, so you're saying what would you use it for?
See, again, just like what Gandalf says, I would use it to do great things, but through me, the ring would achieve evil.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, that is what I would want that for. I know I would think in my head, well, but I could at least fix this problem. Mm-hmm. Let me just fix this problem.
See, but, okay,
you know what I mean? Or whatever it may be.
Here is where you're really fucking up. Mm-hmm. The ring wants to be found, but not by you, Tom.
Yeah, I know. It's trying to get back to
the ring will use you, and the second it can't use you anymore, it will line up an assassination to move on to the next person.
Yeah, it's trying to get back to Sauron.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, you probably wouldn't get very far with it.
Yeah,
like
that would suck.
This is what would happen. This is I'm just off the cuff. Yeah. What I think would happen is I throw the ring in the kelp forest. You dive in. I'm just like, whatever, Tom. I'm leaving. I did my part.
Yeah.
You would
don't be late for work.
I would leave you out there because I know you're going to end the fucking world. Yeah. So I leave you out there hoping you don't make it back. Sorry, Tom. But you do, and like you're walking. I don't know. I just picturing Santa Monica Pier to your left as you're walking into the greater LA area, and then the first street that you cross, you're gonna get hit by a car. The ring's gonna go flying. And somebody's gonna it's gonna like clang next to them, and they're gonna pick it up. Ooh, and they're gonna
somebody who has the more direct line to getting it back to Sauron.
Some rich housewife with like a poodle in her purse is gonna grab it and take it home, and next thing you know, it's gonna get to her husband's boss, his overlord. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, next thing you know, we're living in some weird imperial. What's the word? Dystopia.
That's the tragic tale of Tom.
Yeah,
right?
Seriously.
You know what it does remind me of though? I think it's in the movie Constantine.
Constantine. Right? This movie keeps coming up on all my podcasts, Tom.
Really?
Yeah, we talk about Constantine on the Dungeon Cast all the goddamn time.
Oh man, I didn't know
because the movie is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I do
movie.
like it. But it reminds me. I think it's in that movie, right, where they show the story of the part where the guy finds the spear tip of destiny, right?
The Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, and it's like somewhere right now, like
it's in Mexico.
In Mexico, and the guy who finds it
becomes possessed.
Does walk out into the road, but like when the car hits him, he doesn't even budge.
Oh
or get,
yeah, because he's immortal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was thinking like, too bad the ring wasn't like that.
No, it's certainly not.
But yeah, you're right. It probably would happen that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But see, that's why I would have to be like, No, don't tempt me, Will. Just throw it in there. I couldn't even go with you.
Yeah.
I just have.
Well, to be fair, I would never have told you.
You probably
I wouldn't have
told
told anybody because I don't want to risk anyone's life.
So just to make it clear, right now, if you ever find the One Ring, Will,
don't show
tell
Tom.
me.
Gotcha.
But dude, could you imagine?
Can anybody hear me? Please hear me. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, this is Fritz Frivolous. I need your help. I'm stuck. Somehow stuck inside the minds of Will and Tom. I need to escape. Please support them and their podcast. You can go to patreon.com/dude-could-you-imagine or leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Distract them long enough for me to break free. You can even leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Again, don't forget about me, Fritz Frivolous.
Hello, everybody. This is Tom here.
This is Will.
We just want to let you know that we are taking a little break from the DCYI trading card giveaway for our patrons.
The reason is because we're starting a new contest for everybody.
Yes, everybody will be involved in this new contest. I feel like it's going to be radio DJ. Like, you're involved and you're involved.
So Tom's brother-in-law did something really cool, and he made a very, very nice looking custom Dude Could You Imagine glass with matching glass coaster. It has the Dude Could You Imagine. Go ahead and describe it.
Yeah, so it does have like it says Dude Could You Imagine on there. I believe there's like certain parts of our logo that's imprinted or like that he has placed onto the glass. The one cool thing I really did like about it is like when you look into the bottom of the glass, it has the eye. The eye
nice.
that's in our logo. Yeah, I thought that's so cool.
Does it have the faces or the tower? I don't remember.
I believe it has the.
We'll be posting pictures soon.
Yeah, I believe it has the part of the head, like the silhouettes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That are in the logo too.
That's cool.
But yeah, it looks cool. I really like it.
And he was nice enough to let us give it away to you guys.
Yeah, my brother-in-law Andrew. And you know what? We will also be letting you know he makes a lot of other stuff, crafts and everything like that, and he does sell them. He does really well. So we will be posting and letting you guys know where to get more stuff from him if you'd like. But this contest, this is how it works. It's going to run from April 4th to May 4th. And all you got to do is share your favorite episode of Dude Could You Imagine, whether it's from season 1 or season 2. Share it on your social media. You can share it. If you share it on Twitter, go ahead and use the hashtag Dude Could You Imagine. If you share it on any other social media, just make sure you show us proof. And you can send that proof over to dudecouldyoumagine@gmail.com.
And there will be 2 other ways that you can also enter. If you feel like you can leave us an Apple Podcast review, go ahead and do that. That'll enter you in the contest. If you've already left us a Apple Podcast review, good job. Thank you. Yeah. And also, you're retroactively already entered in the contest.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
And another thing that you can do is leave a Spotify rating and show us the proof. And if you do so, we will enter you in the contest. And if you want to do all 3 things, if you want to go ahead and share us on social media, leave an Apple Podcast review, and leave a Spotify rating, well, guess what? You just entered 3 times. You have 3 times the chance to win.
Yes, just don't forget on Twitter, use the hashtag Dude Could You Imagine. And if you're doing it any other way, send your proof over to dudecouldyoumagine@gmail.com. Good luck, everybody.
The podcast you have just heard are the imaginings from the highly evolved minds of the extra-dimensional beings, Will and Tom. It has been translated into a format more easily understood by the human mind. Interpret it as you will. Should you find yourself seeking more answers to life's most intriguing mysteries, you can show your support by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/dudecouldyoumagine. You can also leave an Apple Podcast review. You can subscribe to us on Instagram at dude_could-you-imagine, on Twitter at DCYimagine, and on our YouTube channel, where you can leave a like and a comment. We can also be reached through our email, dudecouldyoumagine@gmail.com. We leave you now so that you may gather your thoughts until we meet again to ponder the meaning of the cosmos and ask, Dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
could not be trusted with the ring.
Because you're gonna Smeagol my ass. See, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah. Man, well, I hope I wouldn't Smeagol your ass, but I probably would.
It's my birthday. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.